have been completed. Interior renovations and exterior site renovations at Village and Indian Hill School. The right-of-way work and crosswalk striping has been completed at Indian Hill School. The installation of the mechanical units has been completed at Village School. The punch list is in the progress of being completed for Village and Indian Hill Schools. The roof repairs at Village and Indian Hill Schools have been completed. Additional work was performed in the area of the solar panels due to reoccurring leaks, and it was confirmed that the remaining minor leaks are not because of the solar panels. The district will continue to monitor any additional roof leaks and will work with the contractor to ensure the applicable repairs are completed. Exterior site additions and renovations and interior alterations at SATS and the high school. The SATS locker rooms work is on schedule for completion on October 31st. The installation of mechanical units will be performed during Teachers' Convention on November 7th, 8th, and 9th. The engineering and TV studio work is on schedule for completion on October 31st. The installation of the mechanical units will be performed during Teachers' Conventions, November 7th, 8th, and 9th. The installation of the SATS cafeteria floor tile will be performed during Teachers' Convention as well. The SATS music rooms work is currently progressing as planned. The roof repairs at SATS and the high school have been completed. The district will continue to monitor any additional roof leaks and will work with the contractor to ensure the applicable repairs are completed. The underground utilities at the 3 additions continue to progress and will allow for the footings and foundations to begin. As of today, the successfully completed projects are land acquisition, Package D, the gym and the HVAC at Village School, Indian Hill, and WR SATS. Package H, the high school roof. Package C, Rogie Field Stadium lighting replacement, and Package B, interior door and hardware replacement. The committee also discussed the CMP, the Comprehensive Maintenance Plan, and M1 form. The committee recommends state submission of our CMP and M1 form to which it establishes the minimum amount that the district must spend on district-wide maintenance. It also establishes the maximum amount that the district can have for a maintenance reserve as determined by state formulas. We also discussed NJ Cusack District Performance Review in the Operations section. The NJ Quality Single Accountability Continuum monitors and evaluates school districts on the following 5 key components identified through research on effective school districts: instruction and program, personnel, fiscal, operations, and governance. The committee reviewed the operations indicators component of the NJ Cusack process. We also have a transportation update. The committee received an update regarding all public school, vocational school, and non-public school transportation matters. The committee was advised that the Education Services Commission of New Jersey had a bid opening on October 16th, and unfortunately, there were no bids received on any of the route combinations submitted for RBC St. James St. Leo's route. The applicable parents and guardians were notified as to the results of the bid opening. Other matters pertaining to the committee. The committee discussed having the board approve a resolution to send to the New Jersey legislature in regards to reevaluating the applicable non-public transportation laws. The topic was also discussed at Community Relations, and I'm glad to see that is actually on our agenda tonight to be approved to submit this resolution. Our next meeting date is for November 13th at 4 p.m. Tentative.
Thank you so much. And just as an update to both you, and I know Mr. Sacco is going to have this in his report as well, I did reach out to Assemblywoman DeMasso about the resolution, and she's anxiously awaiting our resolution for tonight. She saw a preview of it, and she said she's going to send it off to the chair of the Assembly Committee so that they can get some bill posted to get some discussion in committee on it. So thank you all for your work on that. Any other questions? Mr. Sacco?
So the Community Relations Committee met on October 25th, and besides the discussion about the resolution that's been mentioned already, we also had a meeting with Lori Perlow. She is the Communications Director for the Camden County Educational Services Commission. This particular commission has recently set up a system in which they provide public relations resources for school districts to use. It's run by Lori, and so it was an opportunity for us to talk about what potential PR services we may be able to hire ourselves. We looked at some of the various issues that are facing the district, such as school rankings, the district's social media presence, and other topics. And we asked Ms. Perlow to put together a communications proposal with an estimated budget, which the committee will then review sometime in November, and hopefully we'll have something on the agenda for our next meeting to move forward with this approach in 2020. We also, as mentioned earlier, discussed the resolution, which will be voted on by the body later this evening. And that's basically what we have here in community relations.
Thank you. Any questions? Ms. Collins, you're up again. Go ahead.
The following are the notes from the October 24th, 2019 meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee. I will not go over the 2020 referendum. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate it. Okay. General Services contract with Camden County Educational Services Commission. The CCESC provides school districts with affordable public relations services. The committee reviewed the contract and discussed the public relations issue facing the district, such as school rankings, social media, and other matters. This topic was also discussed at the Community Relations Committee. The 2018-19 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, or CAFR, audit update. The auditors are currently performing fieldwork for the 2018-19 audit and are on schedule for the submission deadline of December 6th, 2019. The New Jersey Cusack District Performance Review, fiscal. The New Jersey Quality Single Accountability Continuum, or NJ Cusack, monitors and evaluates school districts on the following 5 key components identified through research on effective school districts. Instruction and program, personnel, fiscal, operations, and governance. The committee reviewed the fiscal indicators component of the New Jersey Cusack process, and the next meeting date is Wednesday, November 13th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Any questions? Ms. Amirati? Oh, sorry. Ms. Briamonte, she would like to go. You can go first.
On October 28th at 6:30, Labor and Negotiations and the Personnel Committee met. We initially talked about all the personnel items on tonight's agenda. Those would be detailed in items 22 through 37. We also met with the HTEA in an attempt to continue dialogue, but at this time, no settlement was reached. Our next committee meeting is November 25th.
Mr. Wall.
Just a quick note to thank the subcommittee for all the hard work that they're putting into the contractual negotiation process, and also the full support of the Board of Education for the subcommittee that's working very hard to be mindful of time, talent, and dedication of the folks that work within the district, and also the taxpayers to whom we are required to represent as well in the ongoing process of a mutual and fair and respectful agreement. Appreciate all the support.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Ms. Amirati?
Curriculum and Instruction Special Services met on October 17th at 3:30 p.m. The superintendent's recommendations for approval. We have approval of out-of-district travel, approval of student field trips, Title Fund motions, which is approval of out-of-district travel for professional development activities or professional development meetings for non-public staff. We have approval of presenters, staff professional development for the 2019-2020 school year. We have approval of district clubs, our clubs and activities at all the public schools. Approval of dual enrollment program, the Brookdale Community College and Holmdel High School dual enrollment program agreement for the 2019-2020 school year. Approval of the New Jersey Seal of Biliteracy program, Monmouth County Performing Arts Academy program partnership for middle and high school students for the 2019-2020 school year. Approval of professional development consultant, approval of textbooks, supplemental resources for instruction, which include health, physical education textbooks on advanced first aid, CPR, and AED for the emergency and clinical care course. Approval of student placements, approval of home instruction, and approval of student teachers clinical practice observation field experience, which includes a student from Boston University at SAT School, 2 students from the College of New Jersey, 1 at Indian Hill, 1 at Village, 3 students from Fairleigh Dickinson, 1 at Village, 1 at Indian Hill, and 1 at the high school. We had items to discuss. We were able to see the data presentation, the standardized assessment data report. The committee was able to preview the presentation on the standardized assessment data report that was given tonight. The presentation will be posted on the school website for viewing for those that could not attend tonight's meeting. The committee had also requested that the slide presentation be shared with the full board prior to the board meeting through the C&I notes or through a board mailing, which they did. I just wanted to express my gratitude from the committee on the presentation. It was very comprehensive, and while scores are a good indicator, they shouldn't be used for the teaching process. And we were shown how the administrators were dissecting and analyzing the data and using the data to make really sound instructional decisions and to drive best practices. And I think as a C&I Special Services Committee, that was really so important for us to see how the data is being used to drive instruction. And we also asked the administrators if they could build on the presentation and build that into the presentation as next steps. So we basically gave them a lot more work. So we appreciate all of the work that they did on the presentation. Under new business, we had the Cusack DPR review. The committee reviewed district performance reviews based on an analysis of quality performance indicators of school district effectiveness in the areas of instruction and program. There was a change in grade 5 science testing dates to May 27th and 28th, 2020. Please note the change in the date for the grade 5 science testing. We have course placement, schedule 6 to 8 and 9 through 12, dates and schedule of course placement for grades 6 to 12 for the 2020-2021 school year, and criteria for 6 to 8 and 9 to 12 in the 2020-2021 course placement criteria for rising grades 6 to 8 and rising grades 9 through 12. In old business, my notes. In old business, we had pep band discussions. Dr. McGarry provided the board with his decision regarding revisions to the current curriculum for symphonic and jazz band courses to incorporate participation in the pep band as an additional participation requirement based upon a recommendation that was provided to him by Dr. Seeley, because Dr. Seeley formed a committee to evaluate the current requirements of band classes at the high school in response to the feedback of students, parents, teachers, and staff. Parents and students were provided an opportunity to provide input regarding band class requirements through a Google form. A student committee was formed, and there were 3 meetings with this committee to develop a new recommendation. Also participating with this committee were Ms. Riggy, Mr. Brown, Mr. Coriat, Mr. McCormick, and high school music teachers. Approximately 15 to 20 students attended each meeting, and the following guidelines were developed with the assistance of the students. Pep band will be a required performance component of the symphonic and jazz band courses. However, there will be an alternative differentiated performance opportunity available for students upon request by the student. Pep band attendance participation. 1 excused absence during the regular season and 1 excused absence in the postseason is permitted without a required makeup assignment. Excused absence criteria will be included in the course expectations and communicated to students. Makeup assignments will be available for students who miss more than 1 pep band performance to earn full credit. Pep band performance participation makeup assignments available for pep band performances only. They will be due within 1 week of the missed performance. The performance recording of music assigned by the teacher that appropriately challenges the individual student. A standards-based written assignment may be available as an alternative to a recorded performance assignment if necessary at the discretion of the teacher. Continue to allow non-band students in pep band. The committee members encourage the superintendent to ensure that these revised guidelines are clearly communicated to students, parents, and staff members, both in an immediate communication to invested parties and in the future program of studies. In response, the committee was informed that a number of current students were already aware of these changes as they had helped draft the proposed changes. The committee members also requested that it be clearly explained what performance requirements fall within the item alternative differentiated performance opportunity, so that students can make an informed decision as to whether to sign up for these band classes in the future. This was a concern brought up to the board's attendance by students and parents regarding the additional time required to participate in pep band. Indeed, students who participate in any fall sports may not be able to fully meet this performance requirement, and this was discussed as an example. These concerns were also reflected in some of the comments of the survey that was shared with the committee at the meeting. Dr. McGarry indicated that those students with those situations would be provided an alternative differentiated performance opportunity, and that he will revise the language to provide more clarity as to what kind of performance would fall within this category. The committee asked that the information be shared with the committee and the board. The committee members also requested that the school provide the pep band with access to instruments so that the students need not expose their own personal instruments to any inclement weather conditions when participating at pep band. This was another issue brought to the board's attention by parents and students. The committee was informed that there are additional instruments available and that they would be provided. Dr. McGarry also expressed his concern about the students and instruments being exposed in the future to certain weather conditions that are not conducive. He indicated that would not occur in the future as it had in the past. Finally, the committee asked questions about the evaluation component associated with this performance requirement. The administration indicated that this is a matter that will be revised next year. Items for the good of the order, none, and our next meeting date tentatively is for November 13th.
Thank you. David, any questions?
Nice job.
Yeah, one quick one. So option 2 we talked about last month, is that, what committee would that fall under? Is there an update on that? Is that,
There's
you know,
no
what the-
update, CNI, I assume, but
Right.
there was no update provided at the last CNI.
But has it been rolled out? Has it been successful? Is it, you know, are there big numbers? Do we know the numbers?
I know it was rolled out to 11th and 12th, and then once
Right.
that was rolled out, it was then rolled out to our 10th graders as well.
Do we know how many have taken advantage
It
of it
wasn't,
before we find out?
it wasn't on last month's agenda, so we
Yeah.
don't have any.
It'd be good to know, considering it was a, you know, big topic for a little while.
I think it was maybe 41, somewhere between 35 and 41.
Okay.
I just had one pep band question. Does the pep band play for any other sports besides football?
Not that I know of.
No, we don't. Not besides football.
Mr. Wall, did you have a question?
Just a brief question, if maybe this committee or another committee, or it hasn't been done yet. Have we started breaking apart the results of the senior survey, the incredible amount of information we gleaned from that survey, and start directing it to the respective committee to see what areas would be worth discussion and potential implementation in whatever fashion that's appropriate? I just want to broach that topic. I'd like to.
Yeah, we'll be doing that as we approach the budget season, for sure, because there'll be
Budget season.
Mhm. There'll be budget implications, but we haven't had yet a chance to do that.
Budget.
Other than
So
the
much-
first reading that the board did, so that survey hasn't been shared out beyond the board at this point.
Okay, well, I would just ask that it get to the committees to discuss their portions. It's not simply a budget item. I'm not, the various items that may be related to, I would ask that we piece it apart and put it to the respective committees, budget or otherwise. There's far more than budget data within the document from my perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Ms. Collins?
Yes, I was just, this is for the administration, I was just wondering, so the children that, let's say they can't attend or don't want to attend a performance, a pep band, what is the point of giving them an assignment? Or what is the intention of giving them an assignment if they can't attend? Is it an incentive to have them attend, or what was
No,
the
it's-
thought behind giving an assignment if they didn't attend?
Dr. Silly, do you want to talk about that, since she worked on this?
Hi again, that's Cusack. I really do appreciate the work that the committee engaged upon, and the students' voice in this was significant and deeply appreciated. The performance for the pep band at the football games is homework of sorts. So they are there, they're performing music that they've practiced, and they're performing as an ensemble. So when students are not able to be there, we certainly understand collectively that there could be an extenuating circumstance that might preclude them from attending one session. And if there were that, then they would be excused without having to have an alternate differentiated assignment. In the event where we have a student who may be participating in the football, on the football team, in the cheer and the dance, maybe they have a private music lesson, maybe they have a family commitment, maybe there's something that is keeping them from attending, whether it is by choice or by another commitment. The practice and participation of the students during the pep band helps to, as the kids said to all of us, improve our sound. And I love using their words because from them they realize that there's value in them performing and in practicing collectively. So when they're unable to do that, they will have this differentiated experience. And I really want to underscore that that will be something to be determined individually, independently, between the student and Mr. Coriat, so that we're growing them as performers. And it would be at the level for which they are to help them practice.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions on that while I'm here? Great. Thank you, and thanks again to the students and the parents that provided feedback. We
Yes,
really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for all
And
your
the
time.
kids were great to work with. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. At this point in the meeting, we will take questions or comments from the public on action items only.